Yeah. Y'all know what's going on, man. It's King Promise coming back at you with another wise word, a word of wisdom. You get what I'm saying? Today's word gonna be about balancing between doing through action and having faith in the Most High God. And we gonna break it down. Y'all know how I do my little razzle dazzle. You get what I'm saying? So stick with me, cause I'ma go ahead and throw some Bible verses in there, of course, as usual, so that way we can mix it all in to go ahead and get that good blend. You get what I'm saying? And in the end, I'm going to throw in there a few key characteristics to help you balance it on out, to put it in certain categories for a step-by-step for you, for those who need that or try and get that. So stick with me. Let's get into it. Mind you, everything that I say is not just from my own opinion or ways of handling things or thinking, but it's implemented also from a biblical standpoint. So yeah, hopping right on into it. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Alright, that's number one. Number two, Proverbs 11:1 tells us a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. So basically meaning, if you know you got different things that you got to handle responsibility wise or even purpose or goal wise, it'd be wise to balance fairly as much as possible. Not a little more time over here on this because that's something that you actually like doing or it's fun for you and or that you enjoy. And this one's some crunch for y'all. 1 Timothy 4:8. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. So that means whatever your actions is and where your heart at, what you're doing in this present life in the moment which we live, will ultimately determine your fate eternally. Because all of the faith and good works you do here and the character of your heart and who you are and your integrity and how you carry yourself, that'll ultimately be a lot of the big judgment as far as in where you'll go for eternity. Because remember, God judged by the heart. So it's not just by your works. It's not just by your attendance. It's not just by doing a good deed for accolades or not, none of that type stuff, man. So it's a balance between it, between the present life now and for the life to come. One of the most popular ones that we all know, Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Meaning, it don't matter what the world say go. It don't matter what the world approve of or accept. You do what the Lord say. You do what the Most High say. Because at the end of the day, if you are loved and liked worldwide or to a point where nobody dislikes you or nobody tries to interrupt your peace, then that means obviously that you are being a part of the world as well. You conforming to the patterns and the ways and acceptance of the world. Whereas if Jesus Christ was crucified by being the only perfect human being that ever walked on the earth, that means obviously you on the right path if you feel in the same way or people treat you the same way. They distance themselves, they throw shade, scream your mistakes, but then they whispering your success type stuff. You get what I'm saying? And lastly, number 5, y'all, Philippians 4:11. I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. So that just simply means regardless of how much you been obedient, faithful, you seeking God daily, you trying to eat healthy, you following all his laws, statutes, and commandments. That don't mean that we always supposed to just look for the harvest, that we always supposed to look for the rewards, because at the end of the day, he tells us straight up, we will have hardships, we will have temptations, and we will have things that we have to endure. Not always on a positive note, you get what I'm saying? Like I was just saying about Lord Jesus Christ, if he did everything right, he got what he got. Imagine what we got to go through. But again, that's the sacrifice. Our body is our holy temple, and we supposed to treat it as such as much as we can possibly outside of our fleshly desires and our personal wants and things like that. So at the end of the day, God's plans always work for our greater good. So at the end of the day, we will reap a great harvest. Even if it's not fully in his lifetime, we got to be able to accept that, knowing that it may not be fully in his lifetime, although he still will bless us and we will have peace and happiness and joy here as well. You get what I'm saying? Alright, so like I told y'all as we wrapping it up, y'all, I got 4 key characteristics that'll help you balance this out between doing the work and actually having faith and trust in the Most High God. You get what I'm saying? So the first one is work and rest. Balancing effort with divine trust. And the principle of Sabbath. The Sabbath, for y'all who don't know, like I have said in a lot of my words, the Sabbath starts Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Those are the days that the Lord has made for us to rest. Sunday is the real beginning of the week. The new year really don't start until spring, March, but it's just we were born into being conformed to this world in a lot of ways, so it's a lot of unlearning and relearning that we got to do. But at the end of the day, it's a balance. Because if you don't work enough, you're lazy. That's one of the deadly sins. If you work too much, how you even gonna have time for the Most High? On top of that, your family, your kids, your spouse, your girl, your boys, whoever it is. That's a key element right there. The second one, integrity. Using just skills in daily business and interactions. So that means whatever it is you're doing, on the right note. We ain't talking about the trapping and all that, because we know what come with that. Ain't nothing justly about that or fair about it. The streets don't love nobody, so we ain't even talking about that. We talking about the ones who got the edge, trying to learn from the man up there. Yeah. So whatever it is you're doing with your business, you do it clean. You treat people fair. You treat people how you want to be treated as a consumer. You treat people how you want to be treated. If it was their business and they was running it, you get what I'm saying? You do those things because God will bless you. It's not about how fast you can climb the money pyramid. It's not about how fast you can climb the notoriety and the status and being franchised around the world, being known like all of these big corporations. It's about doing it right and balancing it. You got to be firm in the areas that you need to, of course, to protect yourself and your business and what you got going on. But at the end of the day, have compassion, understand as a human, understand from being on the other side as well, as much as you can, without sacrificing the respect of what you work hard for. And one of the main ones, number 3, that I tend to focus on so much throughout my life, especially nowadays, priorities. Placing spiritual growth over worldly pursuits. It's nothing wrong with trying to get that house, that car, that apartment, taking them trips, getting them clothes, getting your drip, whatever it is. It's about spiritual growth first, because everything that manifests in the world starts within anyway. Everything comes about in the spiritual realm before it comes in the physical realm. So at the end of the day, you got to do the inner work. Once you do the inner work, you bound to have abundance of blessings. You bound to have success even when you ain't even trying. When you focus on the inner spiritual growth, everything else will roll out. Seek first ye the kingdom of God, and all his righteousness will be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. Yeah. And lastly, which is the most humbling, y'all, contentment. Finding satisfaction in God rather than material goods. And that's out of the book of Hebrews, y'all. So regardless of the things that you want, we all want things in this world and of this world. Even things that's not necessarily bad. But at the end of the day, we have to be content with knowing that we on the right path or on the right page with the Most High. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Each and every breath and heartbeat, a lot of times we tend to take that, we tend to take advantage of that, because we just look at it like it's there, it's supposed to happen. Whereas each and every breath that we have to even have that to be able to walk to get what we want, to drive to go where we want. We got to have the arms and feet to drive. We got to have the mind to even think of how we going to make it happen. All of these things are taken for granted, but it shouldn't be. And it's a humbling thing for all of us as humans, because at the end of the day, that's what's most important. Satisfying God, because we don't know his time. We don't know his judgment upon us. We don't know the time clock for our lives, Especially nowadays, most people don't even live to be old. So at the end of the day, I'm going to say a lot of people, but at the end of the day, though, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's about pleasing him. Because even though we may be ahead or getting things that we want, even if certain people are being used by the enemy, God still allows it out of mercy for you. And also just because how he did with Jesus. He thought killing Jesus was going to knock everything over, but God used that for good, because he took the keys of death and sent with him when he died. He came out of hell and rose the 3rd day. So, God don't play. And with that being said, that's the word of the day. Alright? So y'all marinate on that, man. Save this post, man. Send it to somebody. Repost it. Whoever need it. If you need it for yourself, watch it over and over again. It's all good. We all in this journey together, the ones that's really trying to get better. So at the end of the day, do what you gotta do and get a man upstairs all of the praise, honor, and glory. And if ain't nobody told you so, God get all the glory for sure. Way.